Hello, and a huge welcome to the very first episode of the Busy Business Owner's Guide to Marketing. What I want to do with this show is cut through the noise and give you clear, actionable strategies you can use to grow. Today, we're diving straight into a big one that I see all the time. We're calling this the founder's trap. Why wearing the marketing hat is killing your growth. So let's start with a really honest question. Is your passion for doing everything yourself actually holding your business back? So let's talk about something I see all the time, what I call the hero founder myth. It's this powerful identity where you, the founder, are the one who does it all. And you might find yourself handling the marketing personally for a few very common reasons. Often, there's a deep belief that no one else truly understands the vision. Or maybe it's the very real pressure of budget constraints. Sometimes it's just a simple underestimation of what modern marketing actually involves. This all comes from a noble place. You're protecting your business. But what I've found is this noble instinct is a dangerous trap. Think about your specific expertise, the very reason you started this business in the first place. Now, let's place that next to the world of modern marketing. What I often see is a massive gap. Marketing today isn't just posting on social media. It's a constantly shifting landscape of SEO, data analytics, content strategy, and paid advertising. You might find this analogy helpful. You wouldn't try to handle your own complex legal contracts, would you? You'd bring in an expert. What I encourage founders to see is that marketing is that same level of professional discipline, requiring dedicated expertise to get results that truly move the needle. This brings us to one of the most critical concepts for any founder, the true cost of time. What I often see is founders thinking they're saving money by doing their own marketing. But let's reframe that. For every hour you spend wrestling with a social media calendar, what core business building activity are you not doing? You might find it's an hour not spent refining your product, or building a strategic partnership, or even closing a high-value sale. That free marketing suddenly looks incredibly expensive when you calculate the value of your lost time and the opportunities you missed. And this leads to what I see as the most common, and honestly, the most dangerous outcome. It's not a big, dramatic failure. Instead, you might find yourself getting inconsistent, kind of mediocre results that keep the business surviving, but never truly thriving. I call this the good enough growth plateau. It's so tricky because nothing is technically broken, but you're not really moving ahead either. It's like you're stuck in place. Everything seems fine, but there's an underlying issue that needs addressing. Technically, everything looks okay, but the growth has stalled. You have to push past that to make real progress. But what I want you to see is that this good enough performance is what creates a dangerous stall, because the lack of outright failure completely masks the massive missed opportunity you have for genuine, scalable growth. Beyond just plateauing, there's a bigger risk we need to talk about: accidental brand damage. What I often see is that well-intentioned DIY marketing can sometimes backfire. You might find that inconsistent messaging across different platforms, or maybe creative that looks a bit rushed, starts to erode the trust you've worked so hard to build. Bad marketing isn't just ineffective. It can actively harm how customers see you, creating long-term perception problems that are much harder to fix than an unsuccessful ad campaign. So, where do we go from here? What I find is that the solution isn't always about a huge budget or a full-time hire. The very first step is a mental shift. You might find it powerful to stop viewing marketing as an expense line on a spreadsheet and start seeing it as a critical investment, just like your equipment. What I often see work really well is starting small with strategic delegation. This could be as simple as hiring a freelancer for a specific task you dislike, or bringing on a consultant to map out a clear strategy. The goal is to free your time to do what only you can do. So let's bring it all together. We've walked through the hero-founder myth, the expertise gap, the true opportunity cost of your time, and that tricky, good enough growth plateau. What I found is that the most successful founders see that taking off the marketing hat isn't defeat. It's the first step towards true leadership and scale. Thank you so much for joining me. Next time, in the do-it-all delusion, calculating the true cost of your DIY marketing, you might find it helpful as I walk you through a practical framework to put a real dollar amount on the hidden costs we've talked about today.